Today on Stonegaard Forge, I am making the ugly knife. That's right. That's it right there. It's pretty ugly because it's just paper and it's yellow. But we're going to do something magical. We're going to turn this piece of paper into a steel blade. In fact, it's probably my most popular blade to date. It's a compact, very lightweight, easy to carry belt knife. Hangs on your belt. Oh, you can put it in your pocket, backpack, whatever you want. But this little knife right here is one of my earliest ideas. It's been one of my most popular selling items since I started making knives. This is my own idea, it's my own creation. Now I always say there's no reason to have an ugly knife, and I think most people tend to agree with that. So one day I was in an ugly mood. Just didn't feel right. I went home and I decided I'm going to make an ugly knife. I still wanted something functional, something that that still worked well and you could carry around, lightweight, ergonomic, but I just wanted to make it ugly. See what happens. Well, it turns out that was the first knife that sold the following week at the table. As soon as I went out, put it out on the table, I don't think it was there 2 hours and it was gone. Well, I thought that was a fluke, so I made a couple more, and the following week they sold out too. And you know, I sell a lot of the others for different reasons and different looks, but this one here I've not been able to keep in stock. Now I'm going to show you why. Alright, there we have it. That looks ugly, right? Alright, let's do some more to it. Okay, there we go. It's a little hot, so I don't want to take my gloves off yet. Nicely ground out. That's looking like a nice little profile. Now we have more to do. A lot of people, they go in here and they measure this stuff out right, but that doesn't make it ugly. That does. clean it up. Now everybody's favorite part, the bevel grind. I know it's not mine either, so let's do it. Alright, here we have it. Now we have the Stonegaard ugly knife ready for the forge. Yeah, it's still kind of ugly. We got our bevels ground in. They're nice and even. Look at the edge on that. I mean, there's still, it's not an edge yet, but there's enough there that still gives it a little meat and support. But it's narrow, so it's going to be easy to finish out. Plus, after we get it through the forge, we have to remove all the martensite crud off the bevels and sand them smooth, and that'll take out just a tiny bit more material too. So then we'll have a really sleek edge on this puppy. But yeah, let's do the next step. So a lot of people have been wondering, why do you only make one video a year? That's not actually true. I used to make several videos a year. It just so happens this last year I only made one. Yeah, this is my first video this year. I haven't made a video since we did the Blackbeard sword, which was pretty cool. If you haven't seen that one, take a look at it. But now we got this knife here that cuts a leaf. What's that? Now that's because we don't have an edge on it yet. Might be able to cut some more butter with it. But yeah, we're going to make a bunch of these ugly knives. So I've got to make a few more, and then we're going to run these through the forge. See how that looks. Put our stamp on it, the Raven Skull, Runar, and then we'll proceed with putting handles on these. Let's see how many we can make. So, well, I've been really busy. Yeah, I know a lot of people that make knives are really busy, because that's what you do when you make knives. You become a very busy person. But, you know, you got to make time to make the videos. People like seeing how they're made and seeing what goes on behind the scenes at the old forge. And, yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot of secrets about it. It's just didn't take much time off this last year to really mess with the camera. So I was busy. I was making a ton of these little boots. And, let's see, I got a bunch of the new 4.5 inch knives, 4 inchers. And, see, what else have I been making? I've been making a new Bushcrafter, my extreme survival knife. That's a pretty sweet knife. And working on pirate knives. Lots of pirate knives, lots of pirate swords. You've seen how the first cutlass turned out. We have a much smaller and more reasonable boarding cutlass replica that I've been making. And I sell out of those routinely. So I've got probably between 4 and 6 of those going to be ready for November at the Beaufort Pirate Invasion. I've got some new things I've been doing to them, some things I've learned along the way to make them a little bit better, a little bit more robust, and just have more of that authentic early 1700s look to them. So we'll make a video about making the pirate swords next, but I just really wanted to do the ugly knife because people love this ugly knife. And it's not really ugly. By the time it's finished, it's actually a really pretty knife. Super ergonomical. That's the weird part. I wasn't even really planning it that way. I just kind of went with it, and this is what came out. I just freehanded the first design of this one, and now I make a lot of them. So they're all the same, and they're all amazing. I carry one on my belt. That's my new favorite blade now. Who knew? So that's one thing that I really like to show is some of the most popular blades and how they're made. It's a stock removal system or process. And we got, you know, it goes through the forge, everything does. It's old coal forge, we do it old style. And yeah, right out here in the woods. Right out here where no one can hear me hammering. So we're going to make a few more cutouts of this and get back to it. this bevel nice and pretty. Get all the grind lines out. Start with some 180 and work our way up there. See how it goes. Do side 2. Now, a lot of people ask me, why do you always wear gloves when you're doing everything? Well, I actually function really well with gloves, but I like to keep my hands baby soft, you know. They feel good. I don't feel like I got Velcro on my hands. You know, just protect your skin. I wear gloves for everything I'm doing out here. Some stuff you just can't, you know, you got to be able to feel it better. But stuff like this, sandpaper could be pretty rough. You know, you don't really want to be moisturizing all the time because, you know, that's not good for your skin either. Makes your hands too soft. So you got to have that right balance there. Little deerskin gloves, all you need. All right, this part here, we're going to use some of this North Carolina black walnut. Now I've glued some black micarta onto the back of it. Gives a nice little spacer. Looks like a nice liner material. So we're going to use that as our handle. Here's how we do that. Tape this down to hold it in place, and I'm going to drill my little hole there for my pin. Here we have the 2 scales. I drilled the other hole so the pin goes all the way through. I just do 1 pin on this. It's a little short handle, and it's just the way I've been doing them, so that's how I keep doing them. But now we need to shape the edge on the front where we're not going to be able to get to with tools after we glue it up. So let's do that now. Okay, now we've got the basic shape done for what we want the front end of the handle to look like. So we're going to do a little bit of fine sanding here. Just try and get that really shiny. And this black walnut buffs up really well too. I love the way it looks. That's the kind I use on my personal knife. Okay. Try to shine this thing up. See what we got. That's what we got. Is it going to focus on me? There we go. See the difference in the wood between the shined up part and the plain brown part? I mean, there's just some figuring in here that just kind of pops to life. Looks really good. It just looks nice. But we're going to do that to the rest of the handle once we shape it out, but we got to glue it up first, so let's do that now. So now we need to glue these things up. And let's see here, get them apart. Get the pin out of there. That's pretty nice. And we want to get rid of this sandpaper. Sorry. 2 things you really don't want to mix up, right? Alright. There we go. Should be about ready. I need something to mix my glue on. This will do. Look at that. An old vintage Raiders of the Lost Ark trading card. Ark of the Covenant. This one's nice. That's a nice one there. That's worth about, what, maybe $450. It's not bad. Anyway, it's going to hold up our glue mix really well. Now, you ever get a metal splinter? I'll tell you what. The acetone there gets the crud off. Any dust and oils or weirdness, get that off the blade too. There's always a little bit on there, see there? It keeps it from separating. Alright, so we need a little bit of this glue. I like using this West Systems shit. It's pretty good. Glues up nice. A little bit more there. Oops, got a little bit on Indiana Jones's face. Oh no, that's the other guy. Oh wow, it's like it bubbles up and turns into a magnifying glass so you can see the Ark of the Covenant. It's pretty sweet. Alright, some glue. I gotta mix it. I don't have any ancient Chinese chopsticks to use, so I'm just using this popsicle stick, which works pretty good too. Alright, let's see here. This part's boring, but I'll tell you what, it's a little like ASMR. I still don't know what that means, but I know people like it, so that's what I'm doing. Putting a little bit of glue on there. Looks really nice, right? Let's do a little bit on this side too. Just because I'm going to have to go all the way to the end because the handle's only maybe 3 inches long. It's not that bad. So we're just going to put it on like that. Take my pen. Let's get a little goo on there, huh? Put that sucker down in there. I'll go through. There it is. Drive it home. Alright. We gotta take our little knife. Stick him on there. It's gonna be right where I want it. Oops. Just dip the tip of the blade in the glue. Wipe that off. Okay, I got that. Pop, just like that. That looks, I don't know about you, but I like this part. I think it's pretty neat. It's a little messy. There's some glue, you know. It's like that. It's just how it is. Got stuff off of there. Put it on there too. So I usually put one on the back here. For starters, just kind of make sure it's not sneaking out, because it'll try to do that. It'll try. You don't want to let it do that. So you're in charge, not the blade, not the glue. You, the person who makes the knives. It's a little too tight. There we go. It's uneven. All right, now we're evened up. Let's get that tight. Now let's do one on the front here. I have to use my napkin pants today. My hands had glue on them. All right, here we go. Right up on there. I like to pinch it in there really good. That way I got both sides clamped on there real nice. And then just because I like to do one in the middle. You know, you probably don't need it, but is it gonna hurt? No. Not even a little. Look at that. Oh, I'm clamped up. And last thing you want to do, you don't want to forget this part. You want to get your goo out of there. Wipe the goo. There we go. A little smudge of glue in there. And that just, you know, if that dries on there, that'll give you fits for days trying to get that off. I mean, literally like 6 minutes. But that's, you know, still. You can scratch things and it just looks bad if you do it wrong, so no sense taking chances. So we always clean a little bit of that off of there. Actually, all of it off of there. That's what we're after right there, just like that. Alright, now it's glued up. We've got the Raven right there. And now we're going to just wait. I like to let it sit overnight, good 15-20 hours. Usually more like 20. That's what it ends up being. While we let the glue set. A little bit of sliver right there. I'm very OCD about the glue. It drives me nuts. So yeah, we're gonna let that sit up, and then tomorrow we can grind it out and see how she looks. Alright, we've got the blade and the handle worked out to basically its rough state here. So let's sand this down and try and get a decent shape going for the handle. Sandwich that right in there. We're gonna get ready to do some shaping and sanding on here, which looks really good. I can find my, okay, here it is. Start off with a little 180. Really get that shape where I had some inconsistency. This fixes all that. That's looking good right there. Alright, well I skipped ahead a few grit while sanding this thing down here. I didn't think you want to watch me do a whole hour of it. So, and I don't really do fast forward either, just to show you the, you know, the 220 and then the 400 and the 600. You know, that's just too much sandpaper, and so and nobody wants to watch me on fast forward anyway. I'm a slow motion kind of guy. I'm better in slow-mo, you know what I mean there. This makes more sense to the average viewer. And this is still kind of boring because this is the 1000 grit, but this is where it really starts to shine up. And like I said, I didn't buy any 1200 or 1500, which I'll sometimes take it down to. With the wood, you don't really need to go that fine, although you can. It doesn't hurt. I've done it, you know. How shiny do you want that wood? You know, you can polish that thing right up. Alright, look at that. That turned out pretty shiny, didn't it? Turned out really good all the way around. Well, the last thing to do is to sharpen it up and make a sheath for it. So let's do that. Okay, here we have it. The finished version of the black walnut handled ugly knife. It's a good looking piece. Not too ugly. See how it cuts. Ooh, that's pretty nice. Yeah, see, we're getting some pretty fine. We're getting some pretty fine cuts on that. Look at that. Made this black and white sheath for it. It's got a pirate motif on it. Pops in there just like that. Ready to throw it on your belt and go into battle. Ready to pirate ship or something. I don't know. Head out to the woods. Go to what it is you do with a knife. But whatever you do, just make sure it's fun.